Hey guys, LPB here. Just coming at you with a quick video. Before I get too far, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Help the channel out and help this keep going. Let's grow together and learn as a group. So this is going to be Camouflage Talk Part 2. As I said in my previous video, we'll be discussing military camouflage a little bit more in depth in this section. Personally, I like military camouflage for a tactical use, less so for a hiding from the man, so to speak, use. Simply because it subconsciously is a force multiplier. Most people grew up in Hollywood watching Hollywood movies where the bad guy or the good guy is storming the hill or storming the trench or whatever, taking the objective. It's wearing military camouflage. You do have some lone wolf movies and stuff like that where it's one guy in denim jeans and Punisher skull in a shirt or whatever, okay? But for the most part, you are subconsciously tuned to see military camouflage and spike a little bit of fear inside you. So it is a force multiplier in that aspect, and if everyone's wearing the exact same thing, would be attackers or your foe might see it as a sign not to F around and find out, right? If you put together, chances are you know what you're doing. Everyone looks the same, everyone's behaving the same, maybe not behaving the same, but behaving in a professional manner while wearing that camouflage, or even a uniform in general, is generally a sign of don't F around and find out, okay? And post SHTF, whatever that situation is, someone's not going to come after your stuff if you look like you know what you're doing. I mean, they could try, but chances are you got 20 or 30 guys all wearing the same thing. No. And you know what you're doing? No. You're okay. That being said, you do have to, if you have a group, you do have to standardize. Maybe how you get to that is you take a poll on who likes what camouflage and test those things out before you agree on it. Run it through spaces. Find the weak points, find the high points, find out what's good, what's bad. Personally, I like having two separate camouflages, simply because of the vast weather changes here in Canada. They do sell whiteouts, basically just white oversuits for the winter, which in a tactical aspect is definitely a plus. If you're gonna get whiteouts, make sure you get white winter boots or mucklucks, white gloves, and a white balaclava, okay? Don't have black boots with whiteouts and purple gloves, okay? You're gonna stick it like a sore thumb. Even the black boots in the winter, you'll be surprised how fast they stick out, okay? Again, that all comes from experience and training and putting these things into practice, which is the biggest thing I can tell you guys, is get out there and do. You can have all the Gucci gear and all that stuff, but it's never gonna amount to anything if you don't actually get out there and use it, okay? Again, so put that gear that's recommended to use and test it. Again, as I said in my previous video, I like olive drab green and coyote tan. I know a lot of places in the States, coyote tan is probably your best bet, especially if you have stagnant weather where it's kind of staying around the same season, colors and vegetation, all that kind of stay close to the same. Sticking with the standardized camouflage is probably going to be okay with you. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Odie and coyote tan is not camouflage. No, it is not. It's just a color. But again, personal preference. You can do things to obscure lines and all that with that and be fine, and then throw a black hoodie over cargo pants and walk into the city, should you have to, or walk into a small town. It just helps you blend in. Everyone has cargo pants. Okay, they're not going to think anything of it. But you walk in there wearing Alpenflage, which, if you don't know, it's Swiss camo. I believe from the 80s. I don't think they use it anymore. But it's got like orange and red, and I think bits of freaking like yellow and stuff in there too. You're gonna stick out. Okay, they're gonna be like, what is that? First time I saw it, the first thing I did snap my head over was like, what the hell is that guy wearing? Then I looked it up and said, oh, it's an actual camouflage. Okay, things like DPM and Woodland, a little bit more able to get away with it because it has been fashionized, so to say. Arguably, so is civilian camouflage. But Woodland and DPM pretty much are your standard army guy colors, right? Especially Woodland. It's Hollywood, right? So you can thank Hollywood for that if you're a Woodland kind of guy. I used to be. I still kind of am, but it does have its drawbacks. Again, if you want to stick with a military camouflage or pattern, globally, what I've noticed, at least with the NATO, is kind of going towards more of a multicam style. If you choose to adopt multicam, go for it. Just be aware that IFF, identification friend or foe, potentially, hypothetically, certain hypothetical SHF situations might play to your disadvantage. Same if you go with a Russian or Chinese or North Korean or maybe a brushstroke camouflage. Rhodesian brushstroke actually works really well where I'm at. The only problem is trying to find it. The recreations at a decent price is damn near impossible. Believe it or not, Rhodesia has, for the most part, bush terrain shy of the ground you're walking on, a lot like where I'm at. So it works. A lot of thickets, sporadic tree lines, dark soil. Pine straw here is pretty much your go-to earth. Like Rhodesian brushstroke works really well. So does tiger stripe, but again, that falls into the same issue as Woodland. The second you get too close to the clearing, you stick it like a sore thumb. But again, when used correctly, it works great. I'm actually contemplating switching from OD to tiger stripe. Again, have to put it through its paces, see how I like it, see how the group likes it, because again, it doesn't matter to you what you like, unless you're the leader of the group and you want to rule with an iron fist, but that's not going to last very long. Now, it might not. There are situations where that's okay, but that's another topic for another time. So military camouflage will lend itself to the advantage tactically, and that there is more so tailored options for your environment, but in order for you to know what that is, you're gonna have to test it. DPM is alright. It's not the greatest. It's British. It works. Coyote tan, olive drab green. Again, not technically camouflage, but if you use it properly, it can be. It's a good basis for camouflage, where you can adapt things to it to add your camouflage. Think lightweight ghillie suit style. If you really need camouflage, that's probably your best bet. You're not trying to camouflage a regiment, right? Small team maneuvers, lightweight ghillie suits, tassels on your helmets, things like that, just to break up your outline and blend in with the foliage will work just fine. Again, I'll be making a video on that in the future. So stay tuned for that. Again, things like civilian camouflage, I find for everyday use and have on you is more socially acceptable. That'll be part 3 of this series. I'll get into that. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That's pretty much it for this section of military camouflage. Effectiveness and preferences and just some keynotes on it. Stay tuned for part 3, which will be civilian camouflage and its pros and cons and things like that. Alright, thank you. OPB out.